What up guys, Kothis, and today I am showcasing what I'm calling the Volcanic Warrior. Now really you just need the earth to be able to do this. We have some points into warfare, but you can have a secondary class be whatever you want. I just went for the warfare and the earth together because I was trying to make a very specific build. I started this off as a whirlwind build, but it turned into something completely different because I saw that other people have already put out whirlwind builds, so I did not want to copy and paste and do the same thing as everyone else. This is more related close to like a slam build from Path of Exile and or the Hoda build from Diablo, which is a lot of fun. I absolutely love the way this plays. As you can see, you're very slow, but you are very good at mobbing and is insanely good at bossing as well. You do not really have to do the boss mechanics. You can kind of just sit there and face tank everything. Now this is a boss that's closer to our level, so you can see we're doing a lot of damage. Right now you can see we're level 26 fighting a level 31, and I'm still just sitting here doing a good amount of damage and face tanking the boss. This is a very fun build, so let's go ahead and get into what makes it work. Alright guys, let's go over it. So we are running Warfare and Earth. Warfare doesn't matter. Whatever you want to run here, run. Everything that we're doing is basically Earth, so you could just run Earth if you want. So starting off, we are running Fissure. Fissure is our main source of damage. This is what we're building around. This allows us to do 20% more damage. You can take these 2 points out and put them wherever you want. The points that matter are Lava Fissure. This allows us just to do fire damage, and this allows us to have more damage right here. So if we take this out, you can see we're at 2600. Put that back in. We're at 5100. And then the additional fissures is the next two things that we're going to go over right here. This gives us 2 more so we can slam with 3, and this gives us another 2 more so we can slam with 5, but we have to stack that up. If you do not have these, you can see that your damage is hurting quite a bit because then you're just doing one line of damage. So go ahead and add these in and add this in as well, and I'll show you the difference with this. Once you get these full stack of overwhelm, you're hitting much harder. It should put us around 14k. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So normally you just hit once and you have the 3 right here, but if we stack up the overwhelm, as you can see in the bottom left, we have overwhelm stacked up. I just have that off melee. We can go ahead and slam with 5, and that's where our biggest damage is. Now once you stack this up, you can see that it goes ahead and stacks all the damage for it as well. So we went from 5,000 to 14,000, which is quite a big damage boost. All right, the next couple of skills I want to go over, you have to be at least level 2 in Earth, and the first one is just basically a buff. It's a sustained, if you will, and what that does allows us to have 20% increased fire damage and 20% increased physical damage, and we're doing both, so that's just more damage overall. And you need at least 2 points in here, so you can have 2 shields, so you can do fire movement. That way you have 100% weapon damage converted to fire damage, which allows us to get these buffs right here. Now these other points don't really matter. I'm just using them because I'm just going along, and I am kind of like hurting for energy at times, so this just helps me with that overall. Next thing you want to build into is Flame Volley. Now Flame Volley is really good, and this is actually set up for boss fighting right now because it's set on single target. The things that I always want or never change is overwhelm gain, just because we allowed ourselves to overwhelm just so we can do more damage and essentially get the 5 fissures on hit. And then of course fast projectile, just because it gets them out faster, and this allows us to have 15% more damage and 15% higher chance of ailment, and we want to burn enemies as much as possible. Now I have this as well just because I want another 40% base to be able to burn, and we have orbit just to have another one. So if you're doing the bossing right now, we cannot move our character, but we sit here and hold this, and what this does is when you hit an enemy, it will stack up the overwhelm, and that's when we can slam and get the 5. So essentially when you're doing the boss, you're just standing in front of its face and then slamming. Every time that you get the 3 stacks, you slam. Now, if you're going to do mobbing, you would come back in here and you take 1 point out of here and you take 1 point out of the orbit and put it into Mayhem. Now, Mayhem is really good, but at the same time, it will not directly hit anything. It can miss a lot, but it is really good when you're in a mob. And it also allows you to move. So instead of us staying in one position, we can just keep moving forward and hit multiple things. And then when we're ready, you just slam. And the last skill I want to go over in this tree, you have to be level 3, and it is called Ring of Flame. Now I have this set up as a sustained, as you can see, and it's because we put a point in here. It's called permanency, and this just allows it to stay on the entire time, and all it is a ring of fire that hangs around us. So what I use is weakening heat. This allows us to reduce the overall resistances of any enemy we're fighting by up to 24%. It works really well on bosses, and I use blazing heat just to have 120% more damage based on enemies being in the ring or closer to the center, and we are literally touching every boss. So this is just 120% more damage to every boss. Now, as far as the rest of points, put them where you want. This allows us to do Amplify a lot easier. This keeps the stack. So I have Amplify. Normally I would run Amplify on this, but when you do it, it burns it so fast that's kind of pointless. So Amplify actually works on this. If you want to do an Amplify build, it works very well. Also, I think later on I'll probably get rid of the Amplify and I'll put points in the Overload, because Overload will allow us to do more damage, and we can use it with this and use fire damage and get some energy back based on that. So overall, Overload build would be very, very beneficial for this as well. But once again, this is just the buff. As you can see, this little ring around us is what the buff is. You can turn it off and turn it on. You can see it will eat into our mana bar over here. So as soon as you turn that on, right there you go. And this will get bigger on each attack. As you see, when we do our bigger attacks, this ring goes out further and further. So you're just allowed to have a bigger radius based on you doing attacks, which we're constantly doing damage. It will not work with this, but anything like a slam, it will definitely work with. Going over passives, the first thing you want to do with this build is max this out first, just because it gives us more energy, and this build costs a lot of energy. Now I have cost on here, which gives us 15% more maximum energy, but it makes our skills cost 10% more. It's not that big of a deal. Go ahead and put regen on them because it gives you 1% energy back per second, which is nice. Second thing I would choose to max out if you're okay with energy is I'd come up to here to Earth Attunement, just because it is an insane amount of damage, and we're kind of double dipping because we have fire damage and then physical damage, and we are technically doing both because we have this aura right here that converts all of our physical damage into fire damage, so we're getting more out of that. Then we have area damage increase, and then we just have more overall damage. So if you're looking for more damage, let's say you're not hitting hard enough, come up to second tier and then max this out. Second or third, based on what you went here, I would come down and max this out, just because spell damage, we're already doing spell right here. Here we're doing spell damage, but you definitely want more maximum energy because, like I said, this is eating a lot of maximum energy based on what we're doing. And then we have element because I want to catch things on fire, and then more spell damage because we are doing spells on this build. Now moving on, you could definitely put points in here. It's just more overall damage, and we have attack damage and element chance, just more fire proc or whatever. And then I have 4 points in here. Actually, I might take them out. It's okay. We went for it just because it has an increase to fire damage, but the explosion rarely happens. It's not that great. Even with a 35% chance to happen, it doesn't happen. So I wouldn't really worry about that much. You could definitely put points in here because that's where I had them, and this helps out a lot. It allows us to be a little bit tankier. So if you want to take these points, put them here, move them. If not, you could take these points out and you can put them over here, because I did have this maxed out at one point in time, and this is really good. You don't really need the increased attack speed. You can use it if you want, if you're trying to be more melee focused, but 27% increased damage with weapon attacks is really good. It just helps with that. It just stacks damage on top of that, so that's really good. You can have points here if you want, not really needed. I am starting to build into this, and I'm going to continue to max this out just because I feel like it's going to help out a lot, just because it allows us to have more attack damage on both spell and normal attacks, which is everything that we're doing. And then in the future, I'm probably going to put points here and here just to be a little tankier, and then quite possibly might put points here based on how well this works. You know, if we're surrounded by enemies, we're just allowed to do more damage, which I think is great. Also, don't sleep on warfare at all. There's some really solid skills in here that I was using quite a bit. I was actually more warfare heavy until I came into the earth. So, you know, the thing that I would maybe use on this build is put 2 points into this and just bring it on down, because I originally had this on my bar, and I'd put those 2 points in the cooldown charge. That way you have 2 leaps at any time just to be able to leap around, leap to enemies or whatever, and then start doing your damage. As far as attributes go, it's pretty cut and dry. I just kind of dumped all my points into might and then some remaining points into vigor. I have more points in might than anything, so, you know, I'm just looking for fitness and overall resolve just for more fire damage, and then more all strike damage or pierce damage or whatever. It doesn't really matter, but might is kind of what I was going for over here. You can put points in knowledge if you want. I don't think it's that great. So might and vigor is what we're going for, because we're just trying to be big tanky boys. And as far as armor goes, anything that has like decent resistances, but mainly energy or health on it, that's what I'm kind of going for right here. As you can see, I have health regen and vigor on this, and then on this I have fire, which is really good fire, increased damage, and then this one has movement speed. Always be going for movement speed or any form of movement speed that you can, because this guy's already slow enough. Jewelry, you know, I haven't gotten lucky with a good piece on this. We have 24% increased ailment duration, which isn't bad for the burn that we're doing. And then these, I got kind of lucky because I have fire damage on both of them, increases fire damage, which is really good. As you can see, we also have +4 to fire weapon, which is also really good. So anything that kind of works like that, you can see it also has energy on it, because this is a mana destroying build. So as much energy as possible is good. As far as weapons, anything obviously that deals with fire, as you can see, 32% increased fire damage, 23% increased fire damage is really, really good. Also, there's other weapons like this. It just has like, you know, 25% increased fire damage, or instead of like +13 weapon pierce, it'd be +13 fire damage, which is really, really good. So anything like that helps out a lot with this build. Nothing too crazy. It's just, you know, we're still early game, as we can all tell, so we'll see what happens as full game releases and we have full on late game builds. Alright guys, that pretty much sums it up. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, and comment. It helps this channel out a lot. It helps me out a lot. In the future, I might put out a couple more builds. I might make another warrior build-ish type thing, maybe doing some more like earthquakes or slams or whatever. I'm already kind of messing with a rogue that deals like lightning damage, which is a lot of fun, so, you know, who knows. Also, you know, Battlefield's on its way in, and I do play a lot of shooters, even though it may not look like that on my channel. I am a guy that loves sniping, so maybe I'll do some Battlefield 6 content because I know the beta is on its way in. Anyways, you guys have a great day, and I will see you in the future. Later, guys.